to subsequently. Okay. Yeah. So the first question I ask myself when we talk about this is why are these types of startups important? And for me, biosciences are important on a personal level, and not for many reasons. And obviously, the fact that I've done it for for something like 10 years, with many failures and some successes included, sort of means by the idea of translating research and technology into healthcare means quite a lot to me. Something like 10 years ago, actually I was telling someone this story today. Something like 10 years ago, my dad would die from duodenal cancer. And then I spent the next couple of months after he died in NIMR, Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, trying to think about cancer in the genetics department, profiling or sequencing the genome for both Helicobacter pylori and for many of the people that had these types of cancer, specifically in the duodenum. And before my own father died, which is shortly before I did the research, he for 5 years he had continued to complain of stomach pain. He had gone to several hospitals, several very good doctors. At the time, I think an hospital like St. Nicholas was something that was held in high regard. But nobody had been able to figure out exactly what was wrong with him or how to treat him. And then in year 5, when it was sort of too late for anything to be done, he was going to go through a surgery because the thing had just escalated significantly, and then they found out only after that it was a cancer. But my point is that if you know anything about Helicobacter pylori and the genesis of its oncology with duodenal cancer, H. pylori is the most common cause of duodenal cancer. However, an H. pylori is almost certainly untreatable by antibiotics once it takes a root. And so what happens is that as soon as someone tests H. pylori positive over consecutive period, I think 1, 2, and 4 months, what people recommend in good hospitals, and this knowledge was available at the time, is that they just advised for the person to take off, they advised to surgically remove the duodenum, and the person goes around living a healthy life, or at least as healthily as possible. And all of this information was available at the time my dad died. So the question I asked myself is, if this information was available, then why did my father die? Almost as if there was nothing that could be done about it. It's a different thing if someone dies for reasons that there are no cures. But when someone dies for a reason in which a cure is known, literally in the same state. So my family used to live in Agege, Abulegba, and Naima is somewhere in Yaba. And this is, I don't know, less than 10 kilometers apart. Information could not spread. At that point, I decided, I was going to go into healthcare management, bioscience. I did a second degree in bioinformatics and genetics, and try to figure out exactly how I can help people. But to my point, I think bioscience is important because it translates information that is known from in one place to another place and helps to really significantly save lives. And why could that be important in a place like Nigeria? Because in Africa, generally speaking, so the average healthcare spend per individual per capita on per individual in Africa is something like $120. For context, this is about 100 times less than what it is in North America, and maybe less than 50 times what it is in Europe. And Nigeria really, many people do not like to admit, but relative to the number of people we have, Nigeria really is a poor country. And so there cannot be a lot of pressure on the government to increase healthcare spending by 1,000%. Already healthcare spending is something like 3%. If we wanted to scale up healthcare spending or science spending, the creation of drugs, pharmaceutical spending in Nigeria to 100 times, or if you wanted to scale it up to the level it was in like Europe and the US, you would be spending more than Nigeria's budget today. And so the best way that this can be done is by building efficiency around bioscience and biotechnology and technology related to healthcare. And that's why gatherings like this, people like this, people who are, that's why sustainable bioscience startups in Africa are important. Is because if we cannot simply increase the level of spending that we have, then what we need to do is to build significant efficiencies around healthcare, around sciences. And it has been proven globally that when it comes to improving efficiencies, startups are a lot more efficient. Startups are a lot better at building efficiencies. I mean, the private sector is much better at building efficiencies than the government. So I would say, why is it important? Number one is that bioscience does save lives. Number two is that across the world, and not just Nigeria, private individuals are much better set up to advance technology, to advance healthcare than governments. Governments are generally wasteful. This is not just a Nigerian phenomenon or an African phenomenon. This is a global phenomenon. And so private individuals are much better placed to save lives. Long story short. And that's why it's important that people like us are involved in building bioscience. And again, if you remember what I say, my view of bioscience from an entrepreneurial perspective is it's literally taking research and technology from wherever it is in our academic. Now the third thing I wanted to point on is there's a big deal. A lot can be made about the fact that, oh well, if bioscience does save lives, if it's really important, if it's the best way for which healthcare can improve, then why is it feels like it's a no-brainer. But the truth is that good intentions don't always make great and sustainable businesses. And I think startup, and the truth is that bioscience startups are incredibly hard. I don't want to continue going into storytelling, but when 10 years ago, the first iteration of my business was actually a bioinformatics-based business. So I knew, for example, that at the time when I did my master's program, I was working on the 1,000 Genomes project. At the time, we had about 10,000 genomes, but Africans, Black people were severely underrepresented in the 1,000 Genomes project at the time, or let's call it 10,000 Genomes project. So for context, I think African genomes were something like maybe 200 out of 10,000 catalog genomes. And the reason that didn't make sense is that a lot of people were coming to the so I did my master's, to the Wellcome Trust to get a lot of pharmaceuticals were coming to the Wellcome Trust to get data that they could use to build better pharmaceuticals that were genetically compatible with people, and to reduce the incidences of like complications when these drugs are deployed. But obviously, if more drugs are made without African populations, then there are problems. If more treatments, things like cancer, things like breast cancer research, a lot of cancer research is very, very genome targeted, and so it was really important that there was incredible representation. But anyway, I tried to do this business 10 years ago. Obviously, the fact that it's not alive today sort of tells you that there are many reasons, and I think I will go into some of these reasons. So my point is, there was good intention there, but good intention does not translate into keep good businesses. And I will tell you some of the reasons, and I think I will spend the rest of the time. Please let me know how much time I have. When I have like 2 minutes to go, just let me know, and I'm happy to wrap up. But the most important thing is that we need to understand that it takes structure. It takes a lot to actually build a business. And today, 10 years later, when I think about answering that question, I think every business must be built as if you don't have to be raising money, but it must be built from the perspective of the person who will fund it. Because again, and I'm talking specifically now, I think of whenever I build a business from a private equity perspective or from an equity investor perspective. So investors, and the reason I think the way to answer the question, how do you build this, or what is a sustainable business, would simply be a sustainable business is a business that an investor is interested in investing in, simply because they know that, number one, it will go into the future and give a lot of returns, and number two, it will do what it's supposed to do. And when private equities want to invest in a company, they simply consider three main things. And those are the things and I think those things even contributed to my own failure early on, while I failed. Three things that they think about. And those are the thoughts that I would like to leave every one of us with. And I'm happy to take questions. Is number one, they invest in the right person. Number two, they invest in the right technologies. And number three is that great investments are investments in the right markets, so where they are. The first thing is the right person. First of all, those of us who are planning to set up bioscience startups in Africa, we have to be we have to have a significant amount of capability. We have to be very highly capable, and not just in science, but also in business. So, popular data points that is called out is that 90% of of businesses, of startups fail. The truth is that for bioscience or biotech startups, the percentage is actually high. Something like 1% of biotech startups actually succeed. So it's, being in biotech is, and I know biotech is not entirely the entire spectrum of bioscience, but being in biotech, the fact that you've chosen to be an entrepreneur in bioscience means that your range of success is something like, the chances that you succeed is something like 1 to 9% max. And honestly, just assume that being in bioscience means that we are on the lower end of the spectrum in terms of success, because our problems are, number one, our markets are not as large, they are for a specific set of people, and we are also planning to serve an ecosystem that is notoriously kind of thing. And so these are or agriculture, not to be excluded, because food production can also be, classified as bioscience. And so we are serving a notoriously difficult segment of the world. It's not like, we're providing money for people. We're providing a new opportunity for people to save money, providing a new investment opportunity. The problems that we're solving are sometimes difficult for people to see. And even if people could see it, the difficult for people to invest in, because they include a lot of externalities, meaning that it's more of a commonwealth that is getting the benefits of what we get. And so we need to have a better capability. I think strong network making some money in between. And I think that's what kills a lot of businesses. I don't know if anyone works in 54 Junior, but my guess is some of the issues there fall within one of these categories. Is first, and this is not to discredit anyone, it's just that bioscience is hard. And being in the field means that we have to be better people. We have to think things through. But I think the consolation is that if we do get it right, you will be saving a significant number of lives, and there is just no substitute for the reward that goes into that no matter how hard you have to work to get it done. So that's it. I don't know if I encourage people to get in. I think my story at the beginning should encourage you to get in, save lives, but it's hard. I told you, I'm done.
Okay.
That's it. 25 minutes, I'm done.
Yes, that was actually precise. That was so loaded. Thank you, Mr. Gigaloluwa. I hope like part time, like you are so loaded. Thank you for an amazing session. We have a very grateful. And I'm so sorry about your dad.
No, it's 10 years ago. It's fine.
I know I could identify with some of those issues in Africa where we have the decline in health solutions. Of our hands, we had the solutions there, but eventually our loved ones were not fortunate to be part of it.
Yeah, no worries. You have to do it for the world.
Yeah, exactly. I see that there's so much passion. So this wonderful session. I'm not sure I'm speaking on behalf of others when I say you could, like you promised, like a slide or something that we could also see and also.
Sure, I will create something.
All right, thank you so much. So we are now in the questions and answer session. Questions and answer, questions to ask Mr. Gigaloluwa. I knew or something to kickstart to come and do something for the world, do something for Africa, and do something for your country. So a lot of things. I think one of those statements he made, he said, solve a problem that people might want to pay for. And that one, irrespective of the solutions that are trying to build, it's very important that people are okay. So in irrespective of the solutions people are trying to build, people should be able to afford it in terms. While we wait for a few questions from the house, I would like to ask a few questions. I noted some down.
Sure.
So I know I've read some building these specific solutions for people around drug where you target.
So the line is breaking. The line may be breaking a bit. I don't know if it's just me.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, but it just breaks in between. Yeah, I can hear you mostly, but it just breaks in between.
Oh, all right. Okay, I could come again. So, where you target some region of the genome where you administer drugs. I think I read some around diet, some diet to people based on their particular genome, which looks like it's custom made, which is specific. But if you are looking at that opportunity as a young scientist, what are the prospects? What are the big prospects for that? Because should we go ahead and say we are looking for investors to invest in our big dreams? Or I know there are many. The best way we could navigate ourselves to meet all these daring challenges around specific solutions.
So, I mean, the line may not have been fully clear. So what I'll do is I'll interpret your question the way I understand it, and then I'll try and answer. So I think what you said is you've created a use case for modifying or creating specific diets based on some genome specific diet, and which would be like an idea, to solve a problem. And then I think what you said is, do you think it's a solution worth pursuing? Do you think it's important to get investment after etc? Does that align with your question? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So I mean, my perspective of that is, I think there are two thoughts that come to my mind. The first is that there's just not enough. I know there's a clear roadmap. Maybe there are people I need to send mails to after this presentation. There's a clear roadmap for many other types of businesses, but there's not a lot of venture capital expertise for sciences. Again, science problems are hard and they tend to fail a lot more. So I can understand why venture capitals just don't want to stay. But I know that globally, I was reading the CVCA sort of report on venture capital sometime this week, and the second most funded aspect globally, not in Africa, aside from financial technology, tends to be health tech, and then AI rising quite significantly. I don't think there's a clear roadmap around how bioscience startups are funded in Nigeria. If there is, please let me know. But I don't know. And maybe this is the call of God in my life. But it's not immediately clear. Anyway, to answer the question specifically, I would say, beyond that question, before someone can have an hypothesis about solving a problem, and I think this is what I was trying to say when it comes to a business, there has to be some research that backs it up before you decide to, for example, go and get money from people. I mean, you may be able to convince people to give you money for anything, quite frankly. If you have a sweet mouth these days, my view is that it seems like people are willing to give anybody money for whatever reason. So, but the assumption here is that everybody wants to do what is right. So first thing is that you need to have done great research. I know many people here are probably in uni, and they're doing existing research, and they already see that, maybe people that are in this genetic, that have this particular polymorphisms, SNP or whatever, if they eat this way, it works better for them for their weight, etc. This could work. But the first point I would say is that, yes, if this is an idea that is guided by data, then absolutely worth pursuing. But it will also be important to say, what exactly am I getting the funding for? For example, if you are in the UK studying this kind of data, and you see that, some diets should be modified to genetically or to certain genetic populations or something. You could then get funding to say, I would like to do this kind of research in Nigeria to see if, there's any, sorry, I've forgotten all the English words, but if there's a statistical significance between the diet and people with some genetic change, polymorphism, and then you decide that, okay, this is what's working for, but no idea is a bad idea, especially if it is backed by some form of data, not guess, not like I feel ideas are, one of the very first things of failure, because you sort of put a lot of money into it and you realize that actually your feeling didn't work. And so statistical significance, we're all in bioscience. I'm assuming everybody has some form of statistics in their minds. Statistical significance is really important before you want to throw any research into businesses. You need to get a statistical significance, whether in a different population, and then you then say, I'd like to see if there's also statistical significance in places like Nigeria, where our genetic basis are just a lot more varied than anywhere else in the world. But I think anything could be a good idea, but please remember that data is key. And the second part of the answer, which is what I answered first, is I think it might be important to identify and create some venture capitals that specialize in funding bioscience startups, just because of the uniqueness of what we are trying to build.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Perfect. We have two more questions.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I can.
So to me, about profit generation while solving a problem, how do one balance the charges of services, considering financial inequity, which has tangible health impact in Africa? I hope the question is clear.
Yeah, it's clear. Again, wow. So I'm going to answer this question as the most artless human being possible. If you guys have had a good impression of me, I guess this is time to make a bad impression. There are some problems that are better suited to the government. And unfortunately, this is just a fact, right? If you are solving a problem that people can't afford, even if it's true that it solves a problem, the best approach to go with it is perhaps to, okay, so maybe I'm not a bad person at all. I would say if you're solving a problem that has to do with helping people that are, for example, poor. You've talked about where the charge of services by private health industry, considering financial inequity. So I am interpreting that to mean you are trying to solve a problem, and it's a real solution for a problem that poor people have. Therefore, they may not be able to pay for the services. The best way to go by solving problems like that is the government, because effectively it's an externality. Government is the one who gets the benefit of what you're trying to do. Rather than private individuals. So if I was a VC and you told me that, oh, give me money, I'm about to build something for which I'm going to forever lose money because the people that we are serving are not going to ever be able to pay for it because they are some of the poorest people in the world. And that makes sense because if they were a little bit richer, if they were middle class, or if they earned a certain amount a month, they'll be able to pay for it and they won't need my service. And genuinely, there are real problems like that only poor people have because they can't pay for it. The best person to partner is something like the Gates Foundation, foundations that actually are specialists in dealing with externalities, because it may not be a good idea to turn that into a real business. And those people exist, actually. Government is the biggest of them because the government's job is really to manage externalities, things for which people may not be able to invest in because the returns are not there or the returns are in the long term. Then you might want to look in terms of profit generation. Even if you can't make a profit, if you think it will take a long time to make a profit, or you need to get to a huge scale before you can start to make a profit, then I would say government or foundations or grants are sort of the first set of people you should be looking at to build businesses like that. Tumishe, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think if that is clear, you can drop a message at the chat box if he answers your questions correctly and perfectly, or just let me know. So, all right.
Yeah, it's responding. Akinloye says, thank you so much, Gila, for the presentation. Based on your experience in gene-specific treatment approach, how are you able to manage challenges such as people's acceptability ethics and challenges associated with it? I should say, first of all, that I am no longer in the gene business. I already lost a lot of money. I lost something like $200,000 of investors' money 10 years ago. So quite a lot. So this is not something that I am currently involved in anymore. Now I am solving a soft problem, a easy problem, a soft problem. Doesn't mean it's easy, but not a lot of technicality involved anymore. If I could change I think the world has changed right now. When I was working on genetics, it took, in Nigeria, by the way, I think the cost of sequencing an entire genome for one individual was in the region of $3,000. So this was in 2012, 2013. I know that there are things like 23andMe that you can now bring to Nigeria. I don't know if 23andMe is popular in Nigeria, but you can probably do something like 23andMe, and to buy like a gene kit that you send back to the company, I think it costs $50 or something. So at a significant level, it might be a good time to actually start to think about solving those problems, because the costs, first of all, are significantly lower. The second thing I would say about things like acceptability and ethics is that, I think we need to educate people that there are some diseases just today that the genetic way is the best way to teach it. Breast cancer being one of them, but things like multiple sclerosis. There are many things that accept you, because cancer is, the biggest example, and things like sclerosis. The best way to treat them, just because of their varied ontologies, is by targeting specific genomes and treating them and understanding exactly what a person's genome is. You can't just treat them with a unique one drug. And so my feeling is that if I were creating that kind of business today, I would focus on where can I find the most people that are treating rare diseases. Perhaps I would create a business, a center that says, oh, this is a genetic center for rare diseases, if I had a lot of money. And then I would advertise it significantly to all hospitals to say, if you ever get to the instance of a rare disease, then come to me. My guess is that people with rare diseases and rare disease instances and are really sick don't really care whether you take their saliva swab for to sequence their genome. They just want a cure, quite frankly. And so if we narrow down to proper use cases, people that need help, rare diseases, I think that you sort of take away a lot of those challenges that you talk about. Money still remains a challenge. The science is still a challenge. But in terms of people, ethics, you get to, if you find the right use case to treat people, you sort of get around a lot of those challenges. But of course, money is still sort of a big deal.
Right. Very, very precise. Thank you.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed every bit of your contribution, from your experience, from everything that has to do with science-based for Africa and for the world at large. Thank you for we have you this night. Thank you for honoring us. We really look forward to having a more healthy. We could also make use of maybe mails, if your mails or LinkedIn account or something that we could reach out to, if you don't mind, you can easily drop it for everyone at the time. Mr. Lucio, I think we'll take your questions and direct it to Mr. Giga so that we could proceed with the next presentation. Thank you so much for the presentation. I will look forward to more engaging sessions and collaborations with you in the future. I wish you all the best in your endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you once again. So that was Mr. Gigaloluwa from Delft, and we are moving on to the second session. I hope we are all set, and we are moving on. So for the second session that we'll be taking now, to the team, which is tagged Exploring Innovative Biosciences Strategies Towards SDG. And our speaker, Mr. Alaka Hassan, is a final year undergraduate microbiology student at Obafemi Awolowo University in Nigeria. One Health with a passion to provide solutions to pressing issues affecting humans. Mr. Hassan currently works as the project assistant at One Health and Development Initiative. Previously serves in different capacities as research assistant and communication officer. Mr. Hassan has an impressive track record in leadership of Deputy Governor of Nigeria Association of Microbiology Students, Southwest Region, Nigeria, which earned him an award of excellence for great leadership in the career of the organization, which oversaw the publication of the first ever magazine produced by the organization. As an aspiring authored over a good number of research papers in reputable journals when he's not writing and doing research, aside from movies and relaxing. What a quite impressive profile. Mr. Alaka Hassan.
Good evening, everyone.
It's a nice position. So the floor is yours, sir.
Good evening. Am I already been up?
Okay.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm happy to join this meeting today. So I will start by sharing my screen right now. So, okay. So good evening, everyone. This evening I'm supposed to share my turn on my video, but this is Nigeria. There is no light currently, so everywhere is kind of dark. So my face is not that clear. So I'm very sorry if I'm not able to share my screen. All right, thank you. So the topic I'm going to present on this evening is development in Africa, exploring innovative bioscience strategies towards achieving sustainable development goals. So for this presentation, okay, For this presentation, I will talk about an overview of bioscience innovation and SDGs, and then move on to talking about the specific bioscience innovation that can be tailored to each SDGs. Not all of the SDGs, but the one that bioscience is capable of solving, and also to the challenges facing bioscience innovation in Africa, and then the proposed solution. So for bioscience, I think almost everyone is familiar with what bioscience is, and is an aspect of science that deals with like living organisms, from microbes to trees to animals. So this is something microbiologists do. We have zoology, we have botany, we have biochemistry. These are the major aspects of bioscience. So I think in some schools they call it biological science, they call it life science. So for OAU, we call it biological science. This is what they do. They do with living organisms. They study them. They look at what they do to the environment, how they are capable of solving problems, causing harms, and their economic importance. And also for innovation is always not something big, like something loud. It might be something simple, something small that is solving a particular problem. So far, it's solving a problem and it's new or an addition to an existing product. That's an innovation. And SDGs, so these are just the roadmap that are set to achieve a sustainable future for all humans and animals in the environment. So these are just to address the global challenges that we face. For example, now we have climate change, we have food security, environmental health, and everything. How are we going to solve this problem? So these are what sustainable development goals are developed to solve, and that's how they are. For this presentation, I'll be talking majorly on, I think, 5 or so of SDGs that bioscience can actually solve. So these are the SDGs that we have 17 SDGs with no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, then industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduce inequality, sustainable cities and communities, and responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, on land, peace, justice and strong vision, and partnership for the goals. So for the first one that we look at this evening is zero hunger. So the aim of this goal is just to end hunger in the world, especially African countries and low and middle income countries that they have serious problem of food security. So this goal aims to achieve food security, improve vision, and promote sustainable agriculture. And before we can say there is food security, I think 3 or 4 things must happen. So food must be available. Also, food must be accessible, and also the food must be safe, and actually give us the nutrition that we need. So these 3 criteria to be met before we agree that there is food security. So in what ways can then bioscience be used to solve this problem of food security and to end hunger? So these are, I think we have like 5 ways here which bioscience can be used to solve zero hunger, to achieve zero hunger rather. So the first one is pest resistant crops. One of the things that affects food production is pests and some plant diseases. So bioscience can actually use the method of genetic modification rather. The method of genetic modification to solve this problem of pest disease in plants. There are instances where some crop are, I think they are modified with certain genes of microorganisms or microbes. Example, I think is Bacillus thuringiensis crops. I think maize, cotton, and some other crops. There is some genetically modified rice too. That this rice can resist any pest that want to spoil the food. So if these crops are genetically modified, they can be resistant to any pest or plant disease that might want to spoil, to actually tamper with the productivity, the crop yield, or the nutrient that the crop is supposed to give. So we use this genetic modification to actually build plants that are resistant to pest, disease, and everything. And also, there are crops that use genetic modification to solve problem of to make crops more tolerant to salt. And this is one of the abiotic components that affects the crop production. So there are some crops that if the soil of for them, and probably the thing that they get into them is the salinity is high, it might affect their yield and the productivity. So these crops are genetically modified. They insert an organism, a microbe, most majorly into this organism, and this microbe works to modify the genetic component of the crop and make them tolerant to salt, so that they can withstand high salt concentration in the soil. And also another thing is the drought resistant crops. So I think in Africa we have this problem of some climate conditions that affects plant productivity and plant yield. So these crops are genetically modified to be resistant to drought and other climatic conditions that might affect their yield. And also another thing is alternate source to conventional protein. So this one is a very important aspect of bioscience to achieve zero hunger, because recently there are some movement that the the protein that we get from animals, from plants, I think some are taking movement that okay, I think is killing animal for protein is I think a violation of animal welfare stuff and everything. So we need to create an alternate source to conventional protein. And this an example is single cell protein. Single cell protein can be made through cultivation of some some microorganisms. An example is Aspergillus niger. There are evidence of single cell protein, evidence of production of single cell protein from Aspergillus niger and some other microorganisms, some other bacteria that can actually give us single cell protein. So a single cell protein is more advantageous because I think it takes less time to prepare than actually waiting for probably a plant to grow or some animals to develop. Because for a cow to actually grow to a stage of being used for food, I think it starts to reach like, if I'm not mistaken, 8 months or so. But this single cell protein, I think within a week in the laboratory, we can culture some single cell protein that are actually beneficial to human health and won't cause any harm. Although there are some ethical issues regarding the use of single cell protein, but generally they are known to cause any adverse effect. And also another thing is cultured meat. So they cultured this meat in the laboratory, some microorganism and some plant-based meat. So these are done in the laboratory, and we use just bioscience approach. Imagine knowledge about microbiology, knowledge you have in zoology, understanding what each plant contains, in knowledge of botany and biochemistry, because you have to know the molecular interaction of these things that we are going to do. And also another example is the nutrient fortification in crops. So we use genetic modification to fortify nutrients in crops. So this gives us an edge over the normal conventional crop that we are eating. An example is I think the golden rice, but it's not actually not that popular like that because there are still some ethical consideration going on regarding this. But it has been proven that genetic modification actually can fortify nutrients in crops. So another SDG we are going to look at is good health and well-being. So this goal 3, is aimed at ensuring and promoting well-being for all, for every human on the planet at all ages. So, and this goal actually aims to achieve the universal health coverage, which is set to be due by 2030. That we need to achieve universal coverage by 2030, which is actually not really feasible, but what can still be done toward it. An example of this, where examples of bioscience innovation to achieve good health and well-being is vaccine development. And vaccines are known to actually prevent disease from occurring. So if you have vaccines that are actually effective against pathogens, zoonotic disease, emerging disease, there is no need for us to worry about that disease actually happening, or that outbreak occurring. Imagine if you have a vaccine already available against COVID-19, the world won't be thrown into that kind of pandemic that we found ourselves, because we already know that, okay, we have a solution to this thing if they come. So this is one of the ways that bioscientists can actually work to solve to promote, to achieve good health and well-being. Because if we have vaccine, nobody will actually be sick or anything. Okay, we have things to combat these diseases. Another thing is drug design and development. Although in around the world, most people think drug design and development is done by pharmacists and pharmaceutical industry, but I think that's actually a wrong idea, that pharmacists are the sole people working to develop drug. If you take a look at it, drug development starts with microbiology work. I think I can share my video now to just bring light. Okay, let me just turn on my video. So another thing is drug design. If you even think about it, one of the first drugs that was developed, penicillin, was actually done by microbiologists. So this is one of the things that we as microbiologists, as biochemists, can actually work to understand. Okay, this is a disease. We understand the interaction. Okay, how does this thing occur? What are the stages, the effect, the symptoms, and how can we develop what is the causative agent for this disease? And then we can actually think of how to design drug that can combat it. I read something recently that some professors in UI and OAU, Obafemi University and University of Ibadan, they are partnering to develop a drug for malaria, because you now see that malaria is not even resistant to artemether, and the one that is one of the most potent drugs against malaria. Then the plasmodium, they're not resistant. So this one, they are working to develop another drug that we use to treat malaria. So this is one of, I think they are doing it from ABBA, some other products, if I'm not mistaken. So another thing is phage therapy to solve antimicrobial resistance problem. We already have issue of antimicrobial resistance problem in the world currently, and there's actually nothing we can do. It's already here. The only thing we can do now is to find innovative solution to solve antimicrobial resistance problem. And one of the things that we can do is using phage therapy. Although phage therapy is not actually being widely used because of some ethical issues and the fact that they are kind of expensive to develop, but it's a promising area for to win the war against antimicrobial resistance. So phage therapy works by actually is a natural process. So we use bacteriophage. These are viruses that actually feed on bacteria. So we use them to attack this bacteria that are resistant to antibiotics, to conventional antibiotics. I'm sorry. So we use this phage therapy to combat to fight against this virus, to this bacteria. They inject, they lyse the cells of these bacteria. So they multiply inside them. After they multiply, they burst the cell open. And if the cell of that bacteria is open, I think in no time the bacteria will die, because there is nothing actually protecting the bacteria again since the cell wall is broken and the cell membrane has been damaged. Another thing is gene therapy. So gene therapy actually works by replacing a faulty gene or adding a gene into the genetic component of an individual to actually cure a disease. And um this is proven to be used against cancer, although it's not actually widely accepted, because this kind of one thing about things with genetics is that there are a lot of ethical consideration before we can implement those kind of projects. So, and I read, I think last month or early this month, that the FDA approved one gene therapy like that for use in the under development, and it's still prone for to release. But that's actually a good way that we can develop the idea. Okay, what's happening around us? How can we solve this problem? What are the genes responsible for this? So if you try to modify this gene, then how can this gene modification solve the problem? So another, we move on to the next goal, um, which is clean water and sanitation, SDGs. So this gene actually work to ensure availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. So the thing is that for this goal, our aim is to just have water for everybody. Water is available, clean water is available, and then there is environmental sanitation. So these are two major bioscience approach to solve environmental sanitation issue and to provide to provide clean water. We have bioremediation, and which is just basically the use of microorganisms, use of microbes to treat contaminants and to neutralize environmental pollutants. So this is just the basic idea. And an example of this microbe that is used in this is the Pseudomonas putida, that can be used to clean anything that contains toluene. It will actually clear the toluene out and clean the water. If there's a water that is polluted with toluene, you can actually use this Pseudomonas putida to clean the water. And also there is some archaea has been used to clean water and that are polluted with benzene, toluene, and naphthalene. So this is an important approach to actually solve environmental sanitation issue. Another thing is biosand filter. So biosand filter is one of the biological treatment of water, of potable water. Although it's not something very new, but it has actually not been really scaled up especially in Africa, where we have major water treatment issue. It's not really scaled up, and it's a good thing if we as young people can develop an innovative way to use this biosand filter to treat our water before we drink it. It can actually be this kind of project can be launched in communities, in rural communities where they have low access to clean water, because most of the rural communities, especially villages, they rely on water from their streams, their rivers, and which is actually most times polluted with a lot of things sometimes urine. Some people bathe in the water that they drink. They just say, okay, when it's said to take it like that, they use alum, which is actually not an effective way to remove microbial contaminants from the water. So another thing is we move on to the next goal. So affordable and clean energy. So this goal is just to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy. For example, the energy in this case can be the fuel that we use in powering our vehicles, our cooking gas that we use, and things that relate to energy. So one of the things is development of biofuel. So biofuel, I think they are majorly produced from waste
Mr. Hassan,
materials.
sorry to interrupt you, sir. You have less than 5 minutes, sir, for your presentation. Sorry to interrupt you.
I think I have like 30 or so minutes before. All right, I'm actually moving closer to the end. So biofuel can be developed to actually solve the problem of using fossil fuel that we are using. Another thing is biogas. Although biogas is not new, but to a large extent, biogas is new because we just know that okay, we can produce biogas from our waste, but it's actually not being implemented. These are one of the ways that we can actually come in to develop innovations to affordable and clean energy. So these are the practical examples of bioscience innovation in Africa. So genetically modified crops have been approved for use in South Africa, Egypt, Kenya, Burkina Faso, Sudan, also in Nigeria. But we know that things don't really work like that in Africa. Before we can actually implement things, it takes a lot of time. And also, there is currently development of cholera vaccine by Ellis Biogene Institute. They shared this on their, I think the CEO, Dr. Kolawole, shared it recently that they are in the phase of development or developing a cholera vaccine for use, and they published a paper already on it. Is a work in progress. And also, Bioscience filter is used by coastal and marine area development initiative in Warri for water treatment in rural communities. This is one of the initiatives that are actually working to achieve sustainable development goals in Africa, and they use Bioscience filter in Warri to treat water. So, what are the challenges that are impeding Bioscience innovations in Africa? First thing is we have low resources in Africa, which is probably, this is ranging from the tools that we need to work, probably laboratory materials, even to genetic modification equipment and everything. We have low resources. Even as students, we are not really exposed to the practical aspect of what we are learning in school. And another thing is lack of funding. We all know that in Africa, there is currently an issue of funding research and bioscience. Is actually very a grave issue. And also we have the governance issue, which can be related to the ethics currently, because anything that relates to using bioscience, genetic modification, there are a lot of ethics, because a lot of people who agree with you altering the genetic modification of human and everything. So we have to consider this as a challenge impeding bioscience innovation. And another thing is outdated education curriculum. Most of we students are not really being equipped to develop innovation, because our education curriculum is still very outdated, and we can say it's actually not on the same level with what's going on in the world in Africa. So we have that problem in Africa, and these are the proposed solutions. So we need adequate learning and practical resources, because there is actually no use in learning the theoretical aspect of something and not practicing it. For example, we have been taught DNA extraction in genetic class, and I was not able to see how practically we can extract the DNA. So that's actually a big issue. Another thing is adequate funding. We need to fund research more in this part of the world, especially even in Nigeria that is very close to us. You know how our government does when it comes to funding research like that. Another thing is proper governance policies. We need policies that are inclusive to everybody, that we include these ethical issues, that we solve the ethical issues that we are facing currently in using these bioscience innovations. Another thing is improve education curriculum. If you have a very inclusive education curriculum, one that is on par with what is going on globally in the West and the European countries, that is okay. I think it's a very good thing for us, because if you know more, we can do better. If you know better, we can do better. That's just the basic idea. And one of the things that is impairing us is that we don't know much. So if we don't know much, we can do better. So if we have an improved education curriculum, that will actually solve the problem. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much for listening. And we can connect. My LinkedIn is Alaka Online, same thing as Facebook. My Twitter is Olayemi Alaka, and Instagram is Ambitious Olayemi. I'm open to collaborations on talks or anything related to bioscience, global health, and everything related to science and research. So these are my social media handles. So thank you for
Thank you so
listening.
much, Mr. Alaka. What a wonderful presentation. I think when you cited the examples of proteins, how we could make proteins, finding alternatives to proteins, my mind flashed back an Asian country, I think China precisely, where they were devising means of using cockroach as a. So I think at some point people were beginning to culture cockroaches and beginning to take them as alternatives to protein. But that's for a great presentation. Thank you for an amazing one.
Thank you very much.
We are now at the question and answer session. I think one during your presentation, so we'll take that first. Then, for others, if you like to ask Mr. please kindly drop in your questions at the chat box or signify by the raise of hand so that we can take them and forward it to him. Thank you once again. Thank you. Briefly, I would like to take Mr. Mustafa's Dankaka's question. He reached us, please consider GRAS. If it's not, then how can we use it to clean toluene effect to the host? I believe it's not my own toluene. Oh, absolutely. So, Mr. Alaka.
Okay, I think I can see the question. So if it's not, then how can we use it to clean the water without inside? Is the host here is it the human or the organism that is used to treat the water? So the host is not clear. Is it the organism or the water body, or people that are consuming the water? One thing about this bioremediation is that naturally they are natural process most times. So it's just us trying to make them more scalable. That's why we actually have to culture some and then introduce them. They are natural process, and so far they've not been known to cause probably any side effects, because their major work is to just clean the water, and that's all. They are not. Is a natural process. If this organism is introduced to the water that is actually polluted with toluene, they do their natural work, okay, through metabolic process. They have the enzymes and everything that they use to just clean the toluene from the water. So that there's actually no side effects from what I know.
All right. Thank you.
So does that answer the question?
I'm not sure, but then I think he was referring to obviously, because from what it was from the question, we're able to know that it was referring to toluene and some other contaminants in the water and how we put that to clean that. So hope that answers your question, Mr. Sharifuddin or something. I hope I get. I would love to Mr. Mustafa. I think Mustafa is fine by me. So I would love to ask if we also have some questions. Briefly, Hassan can take them. So while you are presenting, I think I have one question just to consolidate the questions that Mr. So we would like to know for the bioremediation, especially those ones. I know that we have issues around bioremediation. We have several contaminations going on in our water bodies and all. But then, is there a way that, in our own little way, what kind of suggestions could you give us as young scientists, maybe in our own little way, to approach these issues and get solutions to them, at least fortune from our own hands?
Okay, if I get the question right, like what we as young people can do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think that line was breaking when you were saying the question. Can you just type it out? I could not get the question very well.
Oh, I can actually repeat it. I think it's
okay. I think I can hear you better now.
All right. So I was actually asking concerning bioremediation and a lot of issues around contaminations as young scientists. Okay. Are there approaches you could recommend that we could address the issue without costing so much fortune from our own hands? What are the things to address the issue?
Okay, I think I understand better now. So one thing is, although one thing we actually need to first do is understand the source of contamination, read about bioremediation, and have a good knowledge of what you actually want to venture in. Although bioscience innovations, some of them requires a lot of fund, which we as young people or someone just starting up cannot have the funds to do. But one thing is that if you have an idea that can solve a problem, I'm sure that funding will come out somewhere. And I think from what the speaker yesterday mentioned regarding bioscience and this business thing, that we can first identify this problem and then think of, okay, which possible bioremediation solution can be applied to this type of problem. And then if you can identify a solution to it, we can actually get funding for it, even if we don't have much from our own, because we should not lie to ourselves. These kind of things take a lot of money, and this is not something we as young person. So this is not something that we might actually have funds to sometimes. But if you have the idea, we can actually try it to be scalable, and then we can get funding for it. That's actually the thing about it. I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Alaka. Great presentation. We appreciate you for your time, and we look forward to more engaging collaborations with you.
Thank you.
You have served us as Science Café, and we hope to see you soon and wish you all the best.
Thank you.
So right now we are moving on to the next session, and I'll be welcoming to also facilitate this session. Thank you, everyone. Ruth?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Trust you've been having a great time at our sessions. So right away, we're moving on to the next session, and the topic is LinkedIn profile optimization best practices. This session will be anchored by Ms. Gigaloluwa Ibiemi, Miss Ibiemi Moyoluwa Mata is a food science graduate of Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomosho. And contrary to her course of study, she is a digital marketing strategist and trainer, a client and community manager, a business plan writer, and interestingly, a YouTuber. She is a growth catalyst who is passionate about enabling growth to individuals and businesses by providing the best strategies, resources, knowledge, and opportunities. I am very certain that we are going to learn a lot from Miss Ibiemi tonight, and I'm going to suggest that we should just bring out our phone, we log on to her LinkedIn profile and get to actualize what we'll be learning tonight. So I have the honors to invite Miss Ibiemi Moyoluwa Mata to the floor. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Good evening, everyone. I believe you can hear me now, right? Please, can someone just let me know?
You can hear you.
Oh, okay. Good evening. I'm so sorry. I was trying to join on both devices, my phone and my laptop, because I don't understand the network this evening. Thank you so much for this humble invite. I'm really excited and I'm humbled at the same time. Thank you so much, Ruth, for that humble welcoming. It was really, really welcoming, and I'm so elated. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Ibiemi Mata, and before I proceed, I have a slide. I don't know, how do I go about that, please?
Okay, you can actually share your screen. What about that?
Okay. I think you just give me a minute.
All right.
Okay. Okay, I believe we can see my screen now, right? Please, can you see my screen now?
It's coming up.
Yes, we can. It's coming on here.
Okay. I don't know why Zoom is actually taking time. Okay, so while that is coming on board, I have few minutes to spend with us, and I hope that okay, that's nice.
It's up now.
You can see
Very
very
good.
well. I don't know why I'm showing my entire screen, but I believe
Yes, you
that
can.
fine. Well, all right. So I'm sorry I'm looking down and up. Can you still see my face? No, right?
Yes, we can see your face.
Oh, okay.
Bright and beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, I don't want to look distracted. That's why but I'll just stay focused, right? Okay, so this is actually my topic. This is what I've been asked to talk about. And the truth is, before I even dive into that, right? LinkedIn profile optimization, best practices. And I love the fact that we have said best practices, right? And why I'm actually saying that, because there are a lot of practices, there are a lot of things that can be done. And let me just say this before we get started fully. Some of the things that I'll be sharing here are or might be some of the things that we have heard over time, right? But the actual difference is the fact that you might have not actually put some of those things into practice. Like I said earlier, in just a few minutes, we are going to, wrap up all of this. but I just want you to follow me, and then of course there'll be room for questions and answers, because I want it to be very, very interactive, right? So LinkedIn profile optimization best practices, and we can just get started with that. So this is myself. Ibiyemi Moyoluwa Mata is my name, and just a brief about myself, right? So I believe I am light by God, right? I'm a light that has been set up by God to light up lives and generations. And sorry, I might just need to cut that. To light up lives and generations, right? And I always call myself a light and a growth strategist, because my daily prayer and my daily one of the things I live for is that no one comes in contact with me and just leaves that same way, right? So, and I believe that even in our few minutes of talking around LinkedIn together tonight, definitely there'll be a difference in your LinkedIn profile, and definitely all that you do and all that is about you, right? So I studied food science in Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, and I'm a digital marketing trainer. I know it doesn't align, right? And just a brief is, the way that jam actually jams us into wherever. Okay, I don't know if everyone here is from Nigeria, right? But I am currently in Nigeria, and I'm just talking about Nigeria. So I got that course not because I wanted it, right? But I just had to do it. And I eventually found my interest and passion around what I currently do, because I'm someone that I love to talk, and I'm very inquisitive, right? So I found my interest, and I built a career out of it. So all of the things I do now are just based off of the things that I love to do. You understand? Like just my interest, my passion, and then with the proper training, tutelage, and all of the needed research and self-awareness, I was able to, find my path around what I am currently doing. So another thing that I do is community management. Please excuse me. Another thing I do currently is community management, business plan writing, as well as customer service, right? In addition to all of these, I'm a YouTuber, and my YouTube channel is just based around everything that I've talked about, like everything that I do, just providing resources and knowledge and things that would actually support people to grow in career and of course every other areas of their life. So in case you're wondering what my channel name is, I don't know why I didn't even include it in the slide. Learn with Moyi. My name is Moyoluwa. So learn with Moyi. From the little that I know, I love to share. So let's just proceed. Please, can you still hear me? I might need someone to just
oh yes, you can. Very well.
All right, interesting. Thank you so much. So I believe that we are all not totally novice, right? So I'm not going to speak to us as people that know nothing. You understand? So what is LinkedIn? What is LinkedIn? LinkedIn is, and it is not some things, right? So because many people have different definitions for what it is and for what it is not. And the unfortunate thing is, many people have more definitions for what it is not. And that is actually one of the things that affects us and the way we actually do things on LinkedIn. I used to be there, like I used to be there. So before I tell us the quick story about my journey on LinkedIn, let's just get started here. So LinkedIn is the world's largest online professional network, right? And this is based on research, it's based on even reality, right? It's based on facts, it's based on research. I don't want to bombard us with a lot of figures, and that's why I just limited it to this, because this actually captures all of it. So it's the world, across the world, right? So it's not an African thing, it's not an Asia thing, it's not a South American or North American thing, right? It is across the world. It's the largest online professional network, right? So we have other social networks, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have Twitter and all of that, right? But LinkedIn is that one that is known to be for professionals. So you cannot come on LinkedIn and do the buzz that happens on Twitter, right? So Twitter is known to be one kind of insane environment. That's what I call it. So it's actually there, most of the,
And
I mean, what it is known for generally, like the first impression, let me put it that way, the first impression of what it's about is the buzz boosting, right? TikTok, the first impression is the video thing where you just go there to do whatever you like, right? However, while all of those other platforms have their benefits, they have their, you know, peculiarities. Are 800 million job seekers on LinkedIn, right? 800 million across the world. And I know that the statistics grow daily, right? Because this year, the number of people that have gotten to know more about LinkedIn are more than those that knew last year, because it always gets like higher and better, right? And another thing, now this is the sad part of it, and I had included this particular statistic on purpose, and the reason is because I don't know the kind of the range of people that are on this particular meeting. I don't know if most of us are in Africa or not, but whether we are in Africa or not, at least I know a couple of people here that are in that actually must have been associated to Africa. So whether you are staying in Nigeria or Ghana or Africa or not, you are from Africa, right? However, the thing is, while other countries, while other continents, while other people are beginning to leverage this LinkedIn, the sad part is Africans are yet to actually get it. I don't know what else to say, but they are yet to get it. So this research shows that we have about 0.16% of Africans of these 800 million, and that is like, it's very, very low, right? And that is to let you know that people are yet to know this, people are yet to come on LinkedIn, people are yet to come on board, right? I posted something on my WhatsApp status last month, and I was saying there that, okay, what happened was I discovered some people on LinkedIn, right? So there is this lady that makes dresses. There is another that makes shoes, palms, you know, sandals, shoes, and all of that. So they always come to LinkedIn to advertise their market. And I got so intrigued that even if I have friends that do these things offline, the fact that these people take the additional effort and, you know, they have the initiative to actually come here to do this, to market themselves to a global audience, it's a lot. And for me, I said on my status that day, I said, I have not seen many people do that. So I could say that they are the first set of people that have actually done that, because after those people, I think I've seen just about 3 people that make dresses on LinkedIn and actively advertise it. You know, it's a different thing when you have a business, but you are not talking about it yet, right? So those people actually advertise it. And it is very, very encouraging. You know, it's very encouraging because, I mean, nobody goes to LinkedIn to sell markets, but these people come there. And I just see it as they are not limiting themselves to just the local audience that they know, right? They have brought it further. And that is why LinkedIn is that place that is actually beneficial for, you know, for anyone. I mean, it's just that gold mine. It's a gold mine, and that's the word. That's what I call LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a gold mine. And what is a gold mine? Gold mine is a place or a territory or something that has gold in store of it. Like it houses gold. Let me use the word. You understand? So LinkedIn is actually a gold mine that not many people have actually discovered. And that is the benefit. That is the good thing for you and I, because we have to. And one thing about LinkedIn is you're never too late to get started there. So those that have started years back, those that are just starting today, and those that will start on the 31st of December this year are actually not late. It's just that everybody have come at that time that they have discovered and they are ready to actually get started, right? And that is just the good thing about that, right? So who is LinkedIn for? You could say that LinkedIn is for everyone, but there's something in digital marketing. Not everyone is your target audience. right? So even the person that created LinkedIn did not have in mind that it is everybody that will actually be on LinkedIn, right? So it is not for everybody. Obviously, it is not for the, what's it called now? I'm looking for an example. Let's say the cobbler, or when I'm saying cobbler, now I'm talking about the very, very undeserved, the ones in undeserved environment that are not tech savvy, that do not know anything about the internet, right? Because I just gave an example some minutes ago that there was a lady, or there is actually a lady, right, that makes shoes and, you know, palms and all of that, and is actually on LinkedIn, right? So talking about those that are not tech savvy or enlightened in any way, they may not, understand what LinkedIn is about. No matter the training, no matter what you try to do to enlighten them, they may not get it. And that is to let you know that LinkedIn is not for everybody. So who is LinkedIn for, right? So we have LinkedIn for professionals. That's for career professionals. You and I that were growing in our career, you know, we are growing in like in our life generally, the things that we are doing, we are actually growing. So LinkedIn is a place for us. It's a place for us to leverage, you know, the network of people there and actually do better, right? So LinkedIn is also for businesses, for companies, for organizations. I splitted business and organizations because many organizations or some organizations are not for profit, right? However, businesses are for profit. So LinkedIn is for those category of people that are progressive in their goals, in the things that they do, and they are actually looking to leverage a professional network of global audience, right? And LinkedIn is also for creators. By creators, I mean, I'm looking for example now, someone that doesn't have a business per se, someone that doesn't sell a product, someone that doesn't render a service, but has a community of people that, you know, they enlighten, or they have become thought leaders. Let me use the word. They have become thought leaders in their field or in the things that they do, right? And they are just leveraging LinkedIn to actually get better and to advance what they are doing, right? And what is LinkedIn not? I mean, what is the myth that surrounds LinkedIn? So for many people, and I've heard it, and I used to be in that category of saying LinkedIn is just for some particular people. Now, here is the thing, you may not say it verbally. And I hope we are still with me, please. If you're still with me, you could just chat or, you know, just say something so I would know that you're still with me.
Yes, we're flowing.
Oh, okay, thank you. So I actually needed that because this one applies to many of us, right? You may not say it verbally, like I was saying, but the way you view LinkedIn could be like, this place, I don't think I can be there. How many people have felt, I want to hear from you, you could just chat. How many people have felt intimidated on LinkedIn? Like you felt like, oh, everybody's always celebrating something. This one either getting a new job, says either getting this, either doing this or that. What do I have to celebrate? I mean, do I even fit in here? How many people have felt like that? It's okay for you not to feel like that, but I just want to know, are there anybody here, or is there anybody here that has actually felt like that? Like that kind of intimidating feeling, or feeling like, what's this place all about? Like, why would everybody always celebrate something? You know, it's always about celebration, it's always about this and that. Like, has anybody ever felt like that? You could just unmute your mic and let's just gist around that, right? The way they coin the success, I ask myself if another word they did, right? Honestly, it's always like that. I used to feel like that. Let me tell you a quick story. So I opened my LinkedIn account in 2018. I used to think it was 2020 until I checked it, I think last night or so. And I saw it was actually 2018. So Ruth as well felt like that. Ordinary driving license, person go down, they look forward to working with. Oh my God, or someone that just fixed the bulb. There was this meme around someone that fixed the bulb and says, I was able to complete the project that has to do with the illumination of a chemical. You know, the person just, and I'm like, oh my God, really? So I opened my channel, my LinkedIn account in 2018, but I would only go there to look. or I would just go there to congratulate people. So and that started in 2020 while I was doing my internship, because it became a to do for us as interns, right? You have to engage on LinkedIn. So I'll just engage people, congratulate them, and just celebrate wins. But I felt like, what do I have to talk about? What do I want to do there? What do I have to showcase? Not like I've done any courses, not like I've achieved anything, right? So I actually felt like that. But let me just tell you this, LinkedIn is actually not for intimidation. See, this is coming from someone that used to feel like that. If you are serious with your life, see, it's very well to plug for you, don't separate I votes. Oh my God, you guys. Anyways, it's actually true, right? And I used to really feel like that, because you are just like, this person just come celebrate this person just come celebrate that. God, when? You understand? But it used to be like that for me as well, like I was saying. But for me to now tell you that LinkedIn is not that kind of, like, it is not what you think, it's not the way you think, it is not, like, it is far from all of this that we have said. Right? That's actually the right thing. It's not for some people, and it is not an intimidation platform. Instead of intimidation, one thing I started to do last year was to see it as a source of inspiration. So whenever I'm down career-wise, or I'm just thinking of one next step to take, or I'm just thinking of what to do, I'm just there. I just go to LinkedIn and just read people's stories. Now, here is the thing about LinkedIn, and here is the thing of how it can actually affect you, right? I believe, and what I used to do was that I selected the people that I actually read their stories, that I actually follow. If you are looking to progress, you would definitely not be looking to exclusively learn from someone that has not achieved anything up to you. I don't know if that makes any sense. But what I'm trying to say is this. You would see someone, for example, that is just in secondary school, and the person is, I don't know, there was one particular story I was reading on LinkedIn. I can't even remember who the person is, because it was not even making any sense. So for me that loves content, right? When you're starting your story, you're adding something that is in the middle, it just doesn't make any sense. And I felt like, if this is what I want to come to LinkedIn to do, I think I'll just be going down instead of actually growing. Right? And I had to select people. I had to actually see those that are actually doing the talk, right? So if you're saying on LinkedIn you achieved this, how did you achieve it? What are your track records? What have you done? What are you doing? What can I learn from you? Right? So those were the things that I began to intentionally do, right? And they really paid off. They really helped. So this year, I took a decision to actually become functional on LinkedIn, because I think before this year.
I'm so sorry for cutting you short, but I think we have just 5 minutes to go. Yeah, just like notification.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that. I was actually checking the time, but I believe I didn't start at the time that I was supposed to. But it's all fine, right? Funny enough, most of the things that I have said already are the things that are in the remaining part of the slide, but we'll just run through it, right? So what I'm saying is, intentionally network with people. It will help, right? It will really, really go a long way. So how then do we now access the gold that is on LinkedIn? Because LinkedIn is a gold mine, like we said. The first thing is to accurately position yourself. And that is why I want to talk about the best practices on LinkedIn. There are the things that you have actually known about, but we'll just run through it. And the other thing is to consistently show up. So before this year, I can't remember how many times I posted, but I know it is not up to 10 times, right? And I would just post and just have one like or one engagement, and nobody was actually reaching out to me to even check what I'm all about, right? So these two things are actually very key in accessing the gold on LinkedIn. How do you position yourself? How do you actually leverage everything that LinkedIn has to offer or have to offer, right? So where do you start from is to optimize your profile, network and build your audience, and then consistently show up as valuable. And that is very important, as valuable. I've talked a lot on the second point, and we're going to talk about the first one briefly, but showing up as valuable is very important, because one of the turn off for me for that particular profile or content I told you I was reading of that lady was not fascinating at all. And it didn't even show her as valuable. And I could not even resonate. And I doubt if I would follow such person or even connect with such person, right? Of course, she might actually be a better person physically or in the things that she does. But looking on that, like judging with that, it actually makes no sense to me, right? And that is why you actually need to show up as valuable and you need to actually position yourself aright, right? So here, we have different profiles on the LinkedIn session, and all of these, I'm not going to talk about them one by one because I want to believe we have a LinkedIn account. If you don't have a LinkedIn account yet, please just signify. And like Ruth said earlier, you might just want to open your account right now, and please, everyone should even send me a connection request so that I will get connected and, we'll follow each other on the growth journey. So we have different profile sections on LinkedIn, and these are the things that actually make the LinkedIn a professional network, right? It's like your mini CV. So it's actually like your mini CV. So we have the profile picture, the name, background picture, that should be background photo, sorry. Headline, website or link in bio, and many people do not know about this. So either you have a landing page of yourself or your business as a LinkedIn platform, a website, you actually have the opportunity to put the link on that. And I'm just going to show us that briefly on this other slide. So if you look at this place, so these are two different, two different profiles. This for myself and a friend of mine, right? So I want us to use this as the practical. So if you look at this, I don't know if you can see where I am pointing my cursor. Can we see that? Okay, I think so. Yeah, yes. I think so. So if you look at this background photo, a background photo should actually show what you are all about or something that you want to promote. So these different profiles, for her, she's showing the services she renders, right? And our motto or the thing that she says or she's all about, right? And for me, it is my YouTube channel, right? And I can as well change that here. Then for the profile picture, mine is a picture while ours is a video. So you can as well do a simple video of yourself, and the video can have a cover image. Like what we are seeing right now is a cover image of the video, right? So if you click on this on our profile, you would actually see a video where she said, "Hi, my name is Oma Wogu. I do this, I do that," right? So these are different types of profiles. Now, if you look at, of course, these are our names. This is the way I use all of my names together, and you do that. Now, if you see this place first, it means we are connected. This is even a story for another day, but I'm just going to talk about a profile. So if you look at here that we have put what we do, a brief of what we do. Mine is actually segmented based on the things that I do, like my direct, let me say like the job description of what I do in summary. But for her, she actually used, this is like a tag, personal tag, right? And then listing what she does, what she does, what she has done, and, and every other thing that she does. Right? And of course, here, what do you talk about? So that when someone comes here, the first thing they see and they understand is what you actually all about, right? And also she put us here. So how do you actually put all of this? So when you click on this written, what's it called now? This pen, you would see how to edit all of this on your profile. But one thing that many of us do not do is to actually put our profile on the creator mode. So there is a place to turn on the creator mode, and that is why you can see me having followers. That is why you can see her having followers, right? So for anyone that does not have this on, you won't have followers, you will only have connections, and you'll be limited in the things you'll be able to do. You won't be able to host a live session. I've passed my time already, but I'll just wrap up by 9:30, please. Apologies, Ruth. I just need to do this. I'm sorry. So like I was saying, you will need to actually ensure that all of this gives a brief of what you do. If I'm open to work or I'm hiring, I'm going to click on this. And of course, all of the sections that are listed here, experiences, education, licenses, all of this can be accessed, right, on this place, add section. So once you click on add session, you would see all of this, and then you'll be able to add everything that you do. Now, everything that is in this place is actually showing on like the first part of your profile, and that is this particular point, right? So this place will link you to my landing page, and this place will actually link you to our landing page. So for a business, it will link you to their website if that is what they have put there. And of course, you can edit this. All of these are available to anyone, and you can see the location, right? You can see the location. So it's actually very important. It is very, very important. If you have any questions, please just note it down. We'll have like a minute or two to take that. Now, this is the creator mode I was talking about. So here you get discovered, you showcase content on your profile and get access to creator tools. So there are some tools that are actually specific to only creators. Where I talked about that pen the other time and where you can add this. So once you look at these or resources, how I got there was to click on here. I think it was here or here, one of the two, can't really recall now, right? But see, all of these pen are just to edit, right? But it's just to know what to put there. And I'll just quickly say this. When you are optimizing your profile, please make sure you're using the keyword for your industry or the service that you render. And I'm going to say that again. If, for example, you're a content creator, ensure that keyword and the other keywords that are specific to that industry or to that service are visibly showcased on your profile, because when people are searching, that is what will make you pop up. So, for example, a recruiter once told me that I searched for, and that was what she even started with. I searched for, I need a business plan writing service, and I searched for it, and your name came out as the second. I think it was second or first. And I was like, you mean across the world? My name came out as the second for business plan writing. A win is a win. I mean, it's a lot, right? It's just to ensure that, just let you know that the keyword is important, because if you go to the latter part of my profile, you will see that a lot. And also in the content I create, I include it. You know, the more you use a word, the more the algorithm will recognize you as, I want to say, the owner of that word, right? It just works like that. So yeah, so here your network, you can manage them. Here, of course, all of these are good. Then your creator mode, you want to turn it on. So this is how you can add the things you talk about that I was showing on my profile, right? So these are creator tools. If you don't have it turned on, you won't be able to do any of this. You won't have followers. You will not be able to do LinkedIn Live. You won't be able to organize audio events, and you will not be able to have newsletters. So newsletters are like a blog or like your medium, what's it called, for people that love to write, right? So you could just have an audience that actually subscribe to your newsletter and you reach out to them there. So licenses and certification is another important section on LinkedIn, right? And the way you actually put them there is very important. So for these ones that have the credential link, once you click on this link, it will take you directly to my certificate for this particular program, for this particular course, right? So it's important that you put in all of this. And the reason for this is when a recruiter comes or when someone comes, they will actually see you as someone that is not just the talkative about what you do, but someone that is actually certified in the things that you do, right? Does that mean this is all the certifications I have? Of course not, but you want to put the ones that are valuable, right? There are some that as you even progress in your career, you feel like this is outdated. Let me remove this. I've passed this level. Let me remove this, right? But for someone like me, that I'm still a baby and I'm still growing, right? These ones are still very much important there. So recommendations is another important section. You might want to ask, how do you add this section? Remember, I've told you here, add section. This is how you add it, right? So recommendation is, I don't know how else to explain recommendation, but recommendation is like, I don't know what else to explain. Like it's just a lot, because as you can see, if you look at this first word, it says that this person was Moyoluwa's client, right? It says, this other one says, this Homer worked with Moyoluwa on the same team. So you can actually send your recommendation request to your bosses, previous bosses, colleagues, you know, and all of that. I've had my previous colleagues recommend me, and that is just so that when a recruiter come and they see a recommendation, they will believe this person is valid and authentic. These are the things that would make you actually stand out of the 800 million people seeking for jobs. All of the jobs that I have gotten on LinkedIn are not jobs that I have applied for. I have applied to a couple of jobs on LinkedIn using that LinkedIn job section, but I have never gotten any. In fact, I do not follow up on them, right? But every other jobs have been from like inbound. People come into my DM and say that, for example, the fact that I'm talking to you right now was a LinkedIn thing, because a Blessing just reached out to me on LinkedIn and like, okay, we want to do this and we want you to come on board. Right? So what if I had not accurately positioned myself there? Would she have reached out to me? Definitely not. So you should stop hiding on LinkedIn and just, you know, get started with this. So of course, your skills. Now look at this. I wanted to show us two things with this. We have just 1 minute left. So skills and then endorsement.
Yes.
Sorry?
Oh, I said yes, just 1 minute left. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. So if you look at this place, you would see endorsement. You would see 34 skills, right? So these are the skills that I have and I have used over time. As you can see, I used this skill when I was working here. So LinkedIn is just that place that you can, there's a lot actually. Okay, I think this is repeated. And of course, my interest, languages, and all of that. I'm done with all of that, but if anyone has any question, please just proceed to ask your question. So endorsement is actually another thing that helps you on LinkedIn, because again, you be seen as authentic. After setting up your profile, the thing you want to do is to show up consistently, provide valuable content. And I can't teach you how to write content here, but it's just for you to write about what you know best, because that's the best way to actually write. When you write about something that you do not totally know about, you begin to stutter, if that's the word, stutter in writing, because you will not flow well, right? So with that, I'm done. And if we have any question, we could just take 1 or 2 questions. Over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Such a very awesome session. We have a question already in the chat box from Moinat, and the question is: if I have 2 career paths, she is a content writer as well as in biochemistry, how can she balance it on her profile?
Okay, so here is the thing. What you can do quickly is, like I said.
Sorry, 1 minute, please. 1 minute. So guys, if you do have questions, please get ready to ask your questions. So just have a few minutes for questions. So ensure you make use of the opportunity. Thank you. Thank you, Mata.
All right. So for that question, it's actually a very good one, right? So let's assume, okay, no need of using myself. So you are a biochemist and you write. So there is this particular lady on LinkedIn. She's a medical doctor and she loves to write. So she became, or what she eventually begins to do on LinkedIn was to write about medicine and, you know, medical line and everything that she does, right? So here is the thing. When you are coming up with your content strategy on LinkedIn, and I'm not going to talk about putting your LinkedIn profile whatever, because you want to include it. You have certifications in this, you have certifications in that, include it there, since you want to build a career in the both of them, right? So the kind of things you now talk about is what will make people know that you offer this service and you also offer this service, right? So if you want to have a content strategy, you can decide that today, I want to talk about myself as a content writer. And tomorrow, I want to introduce and talk about myself as a biochemist. So tomorrow you are educating us about what biochemistry is about what you do as a biochemist, you know, taking us through your growth process as a biochemist, taking us through your life. And the funny thing is, you are actually writing, right? So you are already portraying that you are a content writer. And at the end of every post you make on LinkedIn, and that is very important, is one thing that I've begun to do lately, and it helps. At the end of every content you make, you will have a a personal statement. That's what we call a personal statement. So that after writing everything you want to write, you will now say, I'm Gigaloluwa, I'm a growth strategist, and I help people leverage resources and knowledge to achieve growth on all sides. Right? You know, I didn't include there that I'm a digital marketer. I didn't include there that I'm a community manager. I didn't include there that it just gives a summary of what I do. For some of my friends, theirs is I'm so and so, and I help high professionals write their content and manage this one, and I pursue a career in food engineering, right? So it is just about how you own what you do and how you actually put it out there. I believe I answered that question. I think I can see another question. There are some profiles that I can't connect with on LinkedIn without paying for premium. Oh, interesting. I didn't talk about different types of accounts on LinkedIn. What's the role of pictures associated? See, the role of pictures is this. There are different types of, there are two basic pictures on your LinkedIn profile. That's the cover image and the headshot. That's the, what do we call it now? The display picture, right? So your display picture wants to show you as a person. So you can see my face, you can see who I am, you can see that I'm a real person and not a robot, because there are now scammers on LinkedIn. I was scammed on LinkedIn. It's on my YouTube channel. I was scammed on LinkedIn, and I also got an opportunity on LinkedIn, right? 2 months ago, that was October, I got an international job on LinkedIn, like a sponsorship worth over 100,000, and a job, and that's the job I'm currently doing. It's from a company in Canada. But how was she able to get through to me was through one of the content that I put out there, and then checking through my profile, and she discovered that it matches the role that she was looking for in our companies, right? 2 companies, right? And I was able to just get that without any sort of special interview or application or anything. Like I said, I've never done any link. You know, people are very visual. People are very visual. Would you pay attention to an image or a design that looks very blurry and just scattered? No, you won't. Right? So when you want to upload a picture on LinkedIn, ensure that that picture is telling a story and it's actually showcasing something, showcasing your identity. Or else people will just tag you as that girl that uses picture that doesn't make sense, or that guy that you don't know, there's no picture like this that doesn't make any sense. And even nobody will read it, because you will not even read any picture that makes no sense. Right? And to that last question, so there are different types of accounts on LinkedIn. There are premium accounts. There are different types of premium accounts as well. We have the ones for professionals. We have sales navigator for businesses, right? So what happens is when businesses want to reach out to, or when they want to do marketing efforts, they want to run campaigns, you know, they don't want spams, they don't want, what's this thing? Different LinkedIn marketing solutions, BCs in their DM and all of that, or even professionals, they sign up for this, and it will just, you know, eliminate all of those things. And you cannot just send them anyhow connection request. They won't accept, and it's just their thing. It's just because it's a premium account. So it's for high net worth professionals that don't want any sort of disturbance from people. Right? And it is also for those that want to connect. So whether you are a recruiter or you are a company, premium accounts are actually advisable, and it's advised because you'll be able to reach more people. LinkedIn will push you out to more people and show you as well to more people, right? And of course, you'll be able to run more ads and all of that. So you can as well use it. LinkedIn has this learning platform. I don't know if you know about it, LinkedIn Learning. Right? You cannot use it if you have not. There are free courses though, but you can actually get the best from it if you only sign up for the premium version of LinkedIn, or you sign up to their own platform, right? So to get certifications and courses and all of that. So there are different types of accounts actually. You want to do more research about that, but basically you don't need. I've never used it, and I'm doing a lot on LinkedIn, right? I might use it later in the future. Who knows? So
thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for bringing justice to those questions. We're going to put an end to the sessions now. Please, if you still have any other questions, you can reach out to her. Her full name is, I believe her full name is Gigaloluwa on LinkedIn, right?
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
we can connect with you afterwards. And
Yes,
I'm very
yes,
certain
yes,
you can
yes,
also
yes,
contact us
yes.
to respond to any other questions you may have. Right.
Yes.
So thank you so much, Moyoluwa, for the session tonight.
Thank you so much for
It will
having
be a
me.
pleasure to have you again. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So good evening once again, everyone. Without further ado, we would like to move. I would like to move into the next session, and that is the breakout session, which of course will serve the purpose of networking for us tonight. And right now, I'm going to invite Welt Okete to direct this session. Welcome, Welt.
Good evening, everyone. So basically, we'll be creating breakout rooms, and we'll shuffle the rooms from time to time so you can connect with as many persons as possible, learn about their careers and see if there are areas of collaboration you can explore with them. So once I create the rooms, you would find yourself in any room. So whatever room you are in, you find yourself in, just take the initiative and initiate a conversation with whoever you meet in the room. Thank you.
Thank you, Welt.
soil science, crop production. So I also had my second degree in University of Ibadan, where I major in plant breeding. And I currently work with an organization called One Acre Fund, Nigeria. And I'm the Nigeria Product Innovations Coordinator, where we actually run some scientific trials. And we also look into several surveys and activities that could help us serve farmers, which of course are our first clients. We look to encourage them to do more, to get more from what they do. And my interest has always been in areas where we dedicate our time to see that livelihoods are quite improved. So what we do now, currently now in where I work is where we serve more than 200,000 farmers across 2 states currently. And by next year, we are looking towards to serve over 500,000 farmers this coming year, where we can easily move and scale with our offerings. So basically, I wear a lot of hats, so to say. Where a part of me belongs to serious scientific activity. A part of me also belongs to design and innovation. A part of me actually is concentrated around innovations and impact, where we see what our products are and how impactful is it in the lives of people that we are giving, and also measure the impact, because we need to know what's the equivalent of the dollar that their lives are improved with. So I also run with some people, kind of NGO. So it's a kind of like a versatile personality, so to speak. So that's just a brief. Let me give the room for others to speak to. Thank you. Hello, are we here?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, I think some persons are just waiting for. I don't want to talk. Or yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, good. Okay, good evening. Yeah, it's morning here. Yeah, because I joined the breakout session late, so I wouldn't know if there'd been a discussion about the sequence at which we should introduce ourselves. So that's why I was actually waiting for Moina, because I think she joined before I did. Yeah, so yeah, my name is Abdulafiz Akinde once again. I had my first degree, Tobacco University in Pharmacy, and I also had my second degree from the same institution in pharmaceutical chemistry. So basically, my background had been in pharmacy and more of the chemistry aspect of it. So currently, I'm a PhD student at the University of South Australia in Adelaide.
Like writing documentation for maybe bioinformatics software and all of that, like a technical writer, but for biosciences. So that's the end goal anyway. So I think that's all for now. Thanks.
And that's a beautiful one, Alimat. Thank you. Coco, what do you want to tell us?
It's nice to meet both of you. Okay, my name is you can call me Coco. I just rounded up my master's in communication and I all like interest in mitochondrial DNA damage in like people that have TB, cancer, and how mcDNA damage can also lead to cancer in people that do not have it already. Then I also want to learn about bioinformatics as well. I'm trying to improve my academic set writing, then also paper reviews and all that. That's all about me.
Did you say your convocation was? You have to also how do I say it? Decide like to comment on other people's stuff. So like people that are
Okay.
your connections and all, make sure that you're constantly commenting on different posts. And your comments cannot always be a smiling emoji. Sometimes you have to be very intentional about what you
Okay.
say so that because people check people out based on their comments. So it's not just because they're posting.
Yeah, they
Other
rate
times
you,
because of
baby.
the comments that you make. Yeah. So I think even if you're not posting a lot, just keep commenting. Your connections will not forget you because you are always in their comment section. And people would generally not forget you because you are constantly, in their comment section. So if you know you don't have energy to post more than once a week, then be commenting regularly. I think
Hmm.
that's also something. Or repost other
Yeah.
people's content. So build your community, Sha. That's the
Hmm.
Binti advice I can give.
Thank you very much. Oh my God, I learned a lot. Thank you, Ruth.
Ruth, you tell me how you do your website and your videos in exchange, ba.
It is well. It is well. We will see under the camera now.
Oh, that's so nice of you. That's so sweet of you. Really. So
Well,
weird.
Wealth.
Wealth. Well, darling.
We see you here.
So I
I think we are done,
Hello, yeah.
right?
I'm just trying to reshuffle everyone so we can speak with more persons before we end the breakout session. Yeah, but I joined your conversation and I heard some of the things you said. So yeah, thank you. Do I have to say something too?
Yes, yes. We're going to need more tips from you as well. How to like flourish on LinkedIn. So like as
Okay,
per
I hear you.
like how do you do it? What tips can you say?
I think some of the things I heard you said are like some of the things I'm aware of. Like especially about the comment part, being deliberate about what you comment, and sometimes people just comment, I agree, splendid, but sometimes it's important when you kind of drive the conversation, you say something interesting
Deep,
about
deep.
it, yeah, kind of, or try to own the content. Maybe if there's you have an experience that relates to it, you can just share it and all of that. Then yeah, then I think something I also try to do is to kind of, even if we are still very, very early in our career. Sometimes it's still cool sometimes to
Okay.
send connection requests to people who, you know, are high up there. And even if they may not really want to discuss with you now, but having them in your network sometimes can give you access to, knowing about certain opportunities. And yeah,
All
apart
right.
from that, some of these people, they are willing to, engage in conversation. You can just send them a message and they would respond to you. Of course, there are those that will still, you know, that will not respond, but a couple of them still respond. So I think those are just some of the things I can add to what Ruth has already mentioned.
Thank you so much for sharing. Really enlightening.
What? Am I your friend? I just sent a friend request. I don't think
Oh,
we are friends on LinkedIn.
yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, I will check it
Yeah,
out and accept.
I just sent
There
it
are
now.
several Science Cafe members if I have to connect
Yeah,
with on
okay.
LinkedIn. Okay,
Yeah, I've sent it.
so we'll be closing the rooms in 1 or 2 minutes, please, so we can wrap up our event. I believe everyone
Okay.
can hear me. Yeah.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
So Emmanuel, you have something to share before?
Yeah,
I've
I
not.
shared it before you came in. Yeah, I talked about how to enhance like the LinkedIn and do of Science Cafe. I realized that most of our posts,
Okay.
they don't tag Science Cafe members, which
Oh,
impaired the visibility.
Yeah, that's true.
So if they can tag Science Cafe members to the post in a way, it's going to enhance more visibility, more comments, more share and
engagement.
stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, thanks. Okay, I've heard it. I believe I will share it with Alimat. You can also reach out to Alimat or Sheriff directly to share it, but I would mention it to them. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Welcome back from the breakout session. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Oh, of course, Akinloye, of course. The time is not teleporting per se, but we wanted to like experience, to have diverse experience.
The point is, I wasn't even done introducing myself in one of the session. I just met myself in another. I was also doing the same day and left again. I mean, I wasn't done at all.
Sorry about that. I believe another opportunity will come where we would, network with ourselves. So yeah, we'll be wrapping up the sessions now, and I think Welt, you can take over.
Okay, thank you very much, Ruth, and thanks to everyone who has stayed so far for this session. I think I should apologize to Abdulhafiz and every other person that was, that your conversation was cut short abruptly. I'm so sorry. We just wanted to make sure you maybe interacted with more than one group or more than one breakout room. So we want to once again appreciate everyone who has contributed to the success of this anniversary event. From big thanks to God for making everything a success, and then our amazing anniversary planning committee members. Thank you very much for your commitment. It's evident that you guys really put in your best to making sure the anniversary will turn out to be a really fantastic event, and we appreciate that commitment and that commitment to excellence. We also extend our gratitude to my fellow co-founders, Martin and Dolapo. We are sorry Dolapo could not join the anniversary. He has a lot on his hands currently, and but hopefully we'll hear from him soon. And Martin also for his commitment. Thanks to all the volunteer team leads for their support. And I know what one of the team basically had to go through to make sure, the synthesis team, to make sure flyers and a couple of other documents we need for the anniversary will be ready in time. So thank you very much to the social media team also. Even though it was not so easy on Sheriff, who had to bear majority of the publicity burden this period. Thank you so much. And thanks to Halimat, Charity, and every member of the team. Well done to the chaperones and the amazing moderators we also got for the anniversary event. Okay, so interesting, Ibrahim. God bless our PDAPC. Yeah. I'm not sure Rachel is on this call. Okay, so I think I should just mention it publicly. Like we did last year, we're supposed to present certificates to everyone and appreciate people for, efforts so far, especially our volunteers and a few other persons. But I think Martin is having a challenge joining the meeting and he has access to the certificates. I don't know if Rachel is on this call. I'm not sure she's still on the call. She could have helped us out. Okay, so maybe we just allow a minute or two. If Martin can join, then please, we just allow a minute or two before let's just wait a bit for Martin to join the call. Okay, so while we are waiting for Martin, I think one of the breakout rooms I joined, they were having a conversation kind of to just build up on what Ms. Moyoluwa shared around the LinkedIn optimization. So I'm going to mention Goots, either of the Goots Oboye. Yeah, Goots Oboye, you were moderating initially. So just come and share some of the tips that were shared in your breakout room. So every other person can still learn from it.
Oh, okay, thank you so much. I think I kind of emphasized one of the things she mentioned, and that is a content strategy. So I asked Ruth 30 to share tips about content strategy, and she mentioned how I or anyone can actually develop like something like a content calendar on Google Docs or any platform. So on that calendar, you might decide that you want to be posting something, maybe like might be once in a week or once in a month, but it has to be fixed like that. And whenever you have inspiration for any content, just drop it on the calendar, right? Just drop it on the calendar and like create a caption. That's caption. So you can, by that you'll be able to like work on do something about the consistency thing. At the same time, it might be, if one is so busy like creating content and all that, what we can also do is commenting on people's posts. So the idea is that your connection, you want to leave yourself unforgettable in their minds. So, and then the comment should be more than, okay, splendid, fine, wow, something like that, congratulations. It should be much more like something so insightful, like a deep thoughts kind of thing. Yeah. So I think that's it. Thank you for the opportunity. Well, hello.
Oh, I was muted. I was already talking. Sorry. Thank you very much, Good. So for sharing those tips with us. So I said one of the breakout, I don't know if any other breakout room has something to share with every other person. So before we proceed. Any other person from Alimat's team, Alimat's room, the room that Alimat joined, or the room that I think Alimat, Ibrahim, and Coco were in the same room, or the room that Abdulhafiz joined. I don't know if we have anything to share with every other person. Is someone coming up? Okay, so we'll get the certificate soon, and we are on it.
We can appoint you as a DJ, sir. Mama Ilori. Congratulations, Coco, on your convocation.
I don't have music here.
No, we can make do with what you are listening to.
Okay, I think that's actually on the background. I'm actually facing my laptop, so I think the TV in the sitting room is producing that noise.
And that's what I'm saying. You can just make use of that.
You can flow with that.
Exactly.
No. Let's focus.
The point is we are unable to focus.
Okay, wait. Are we still waiting for Martins?
Yeah, Ruth is on it already, so I think we'll just give her 1 minute. She would share.
All right.
So sorry for the delay.
Sorry, guys. I have to can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Shared on Zoom for a while, so I don't know. It's just something I'm getting the hang of again. All right. Please, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Can you see my screen now?
Okay, yes, we can.
Okay, there's only one ish. The way I shared it, I'd have to go back to my gallery again. I'm so sorry. Sorry, guys. Can you see it?
Not yet. Okay, thank you very much. I think Martin is here already. So Martin, if you can hear me, I think you can just share your screen. Okay, so basically we have certificates like, let me see, tradition. We did it last year for our volunteers, and we think it's important that we appreciate them like this publicly, because this recording hopefully will be on YouTube, so we should appreciate our volunteers publicly. So that's basically one of the reasons why we are trying to make sure we present those certificates here. So we're appreciating our volunteers and the anniversary planning committee. Okay, thank you very much, Afiz. So this is to Chinaza Nwanya, who is a member of the anniversary planning committee, and who was, I think she also headed the committee. So we all can testify to the amazing, the amazing work they did, the amazing event that they gave birth to. So special thanks to Chinaza and for her leadership, collaborative skills, and everything she put into making the anniversary a success. The next slide. Okay, this for Blessing Afolabi, also a member of the anniversary planning committee. Thank you very much, Blessing, for your commitment. Next. Okay, Olaito Owoyemi, also a member of the anniversary planning committee. Thank you very much, Olaito, for everything you did to make the anniversary a success. Next. Okay, so in no particular order, this is to Godfred Scott. Only those of us who know Godfred Scott, Yosin, that's our only Ghanaian member at the moment. So he's a member of the Synthesis team, and he has been contributing to making some of the beautiful flyers we've been seeing from the Synthesis team. So thank you very much, Godfred, for giving us helping Science Cafe benefit from your graphic design skills. Next. Okay, Abdulafiz Akinloye, senior man by excellence. Thank you very much for your commitment and your efforts, both in the Synthesis team and in every other contributions you've been giving to the community. Thank you very much. Next. Ahmed Sheriff Sheriff could not join this meeting. So I think I should provide a background story to Sheriff. Sheriff was a Synthesis member as at the beginning of this year, where we gave out this call for volunteers. And then at a point, camps were engaged, Charity was busy, Alimat was busy, and we were like, okay, who's going to help out with social media posting? And Sheriff actually volunteered, and Rachel was kind enough to to give camps team Sheriff to give Sheriff to camps team. So Sheriff joined camps and didn't return to Synthesis, and he has been an amazing committed member of the camps team. I believe Charity, Alimat can attest to that Sheriff has really been committed. Even some of us who would have been seeing some of the social media posts, or Lighton also can also testify that Sheriff has also really been committed, a very committed member to in the camps team. And I believe when he was in Synthesis, he was also really committed. Thank you very much, Sheriff Dane, for your contributions to the social media management team. Next. Okay, so this Imole Ayo Olorunyolemi. So most of us are familiar with Imole. He's also a member of the Synthesis team. And he was the one that did a presentation on skin exposome. So he's also an amazing contributor to everything you've been seeing from the Synthesis team, graphics designing, written content, and all of that. Thank you very much, Imole. Next. Fortunate Okpayemi Oladeru. Thank you very much for your contribution to the camps team. So Fortunate joined camps, I think in July or August, and I according to me, he had some challenges, getting used to do social media management stuff, but he has really been amazing and committed to the team. Thank you very much, Fortunate, and thank you for your, commitment. Next. Okay, Shaki Atoye B. Thank you very much, Shaki, for your contributions to the Synthesis team. Everyone should know Shaki, and I think he's one of the contributors to Synthesis in terms of the written content, and he has been really committed and dedicated to the team. So this is a certificate of recognition to him. Thank you very much, Shaki. Next. Jeremiah Arauye, also a member of the Synthesis team. I think he was a member in the first cycle. Thank you very much for your commitment to helping with graphics design, written content, and all of that. Thank you. Next. Genesis, member of the chaperones team. Genesis has been giving us presentations on microbiology, industrial microbiology related presentations. Really amazing young man. Thank you very much for all you've done. And thank you for, other supports and contributions outside your, the chaperone role you have. Thank you very much. We really appreciate. Next. Judith Egbo, an amazing writer and member of the Synthesis team. Thank you very much, Judith, for your contributions to the team. Next. Esther Adepoju. All of us know Esther, skin intervention sister. Thank you very much, Esther. An amazing chaperone. An amazing chaperone. Well done, Esther, for your contributions to the chaperone team. I know Ruth is really, really proud of you, and we are all proud of you. Thank you very much. Next. Ridwan Bello, also an amazing member of the Synthesis team, and I think he served in the first cycle too. And thank you for your commitment. Thank you for everything you give to the Synthesis team. Next. Charity Okoleze, the CAMS team, previous team lead. She led the team for, I think, quite over a year. Charity is really, really amazing. I think all of our team members can attest to the fact that she's an amazing team lead and committed, even there were times that maybe she was not really active and all of that, but our team members were able to just pick up from where she started, and you will not even know whether Charity is available or not available. Thank you very much, Charity, for, that commitment to excellence you pour into leadership and pour into your goal as a member of the social media management team. Thank you so much. Next. Chinaza Nwanya. Chinaza, I think we can now have a title for senior woman. So Chinaza is officially a senior woman of our community. So thank you very much. She was also the team lead of the anniversary planning committee. Thank you so much, Chinaza, for all the efforts you put, even when you're on keke or in the bus or in the cab, joining sessions and all of that. Thank you so much for your commitment to volunteering, to the community, and every other area. Thank you so much. Ruth Ogboye, what do they call it now? Chaperone, semi-chaperone, that's in Synthesis. So I believe by next year, Toti will come and carry you, port you from Synthesis to your ministry in chaperone. So you function more completely. So thank you so much, Ruth, for, thank you for all the ideas you usually share with Martin and I, things we should do, how we could, make improvement to the community. Thank you for your contribution to the Synthesis team, the flyers you're making, the written content, and thank you for, your amazing moderations too. Thank you so much, Ruth. Thank you. We are really proud to have you as a volunteer and a member of the community. Next. Okay, this to Messi, a member of the CAMS team. Thank you so much, Messi, for your contributions to the volunteer team. Thank you so much. Good, Toti, chaperone. I call her chaperone queen mother. Ruth has been chaperoning even before chaperones were formed. Thank you so much, Ruth, for, we see what you are doing. Thank you so much for, thank you for your commitment to the chaperones team. Thank you for the arguments we normally have too, and all the suggestions you bring, and thank you. I think I should say, I think I've told her before, Ruth is really, really a very creative person. I'm not the first person saying it, and all of us can attest to that. I love how she's able to just bring life to sessions and just think of a game, sometimes impromptu. Okay, let's play this game and let's do this, and everybody starts becoming lively at once. Yeah, and we have arguments, frequent arguments. Not so frequent though, but like we kind of have this kind of banter sometimes with management and all of that. It's something that should happen. So we are really grateful to Ruth for all she does to the community. Our commitment to the community is evident, and we are proud to have you as a member of our volunteer team, and a team lead, and and more. Thank you so much. Good. Next. Alimat Atonda. Thank you so much, Alimat Chisom Atonda. Let me say the name in full. Alimat has been, she has been in camps for, I think, a year, around a year, or I think she joined since last year or early this year. And the few times that Charity was not available, she steps in and, she owns the role, even if she's the only one doing it. She's always active. Even when she took up the, team lead role, she has also been really, really amazing. So it was people, even with the Iwo network, Alimat will still make posts on social media and they would show. So thank you so much, Alimat, thank you so much for your commitment. Thank you for your amazing write-ups and how you're able to craft content, no matter what we want to post about. Alimat is always able to craft something amazing about for our social media posts and all of that. Thank you so much, Alimat. Ayomide Faloye, a member of the CAMPS volunteer team. Thank you so much for your commitment to the social media management team. We appreciate it. Next. Esther following show, our Mrs. Thank you so much, Esther. A chaperone par excellence. She couldn't join the anniversary event, but she's another amazing person we can all attest to. Our chemist, passionate about climate protection and all of that. So thank you so much, Esther, for all you do for Science Cafe. Thank you. Next. Tolu Omojola, our moderator for today, another amazing young man in the Synthase team. Synthase, you have lots of amazing people. Thank you so much, Tolu, for all you do for our community, both as a Synthase and as a member of the community. We really appreciate. Next. I think we've mentioned Charity before. Okay, Charity is also a member of the anniversary planning committee. Thank you so much, Charity. And then there's Emmanuel Ekwem, another member of the anniversary planning committee. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Emmanuel is a chaperone, Agba chaperone. I think that's how they say it in Yoruba. So amazing, amazing chaperone. Once a chaperone, still a chaperone, and an amazing contributor to the success of this anniversary. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. So although we don't have certificates here for our speakers, we're also sending them certificates of appreciation for gracing our event and giving us the best. We believe that from this anniversary we'll all be inspired, and from next year, yeah, EEX's expectations. From next year, Science Cafe will be having lots of startups by the special grace of God. Okay. So appreciation to all of our guests, and sorry, it's impossible to miss Rachel. She's the one that made I think I'm okay, I shouldn't say, but our team made all of these certificates. I'm not sure if she made them personally, but our team made all of these certificates. So I think it's impossible to miss Rachel. So Rachel is an amazing person. All of us can attest to that. She is good with design. I'm really happy about our growth and all of that, and how willing she is to take feedback. Sometimes we have lots of backs and forths with designs before we see them. We see them on WhatsApp or on social media. Yeah, Good said she came in to take over. So that was the first thing she told us when she joined the committee, that she's coming to take over, and she has really been amazing. And so yeah, she has really been amazing, and really amazing leader. And even though she's this boss of our team, like our members would say sometimes, but she's really an amazing person who is committed to making sure that we get we get the best. We get the best. Sometimes we really have lots of back and forth, but she's willing to learn and take corrections. And yeah, so we hope we all do better next year. So I think this is the last certificates. So we do not have certificates for this. Before Martin comes up, would also want to appreciate specially two members. And coincidentally, okay, I will pause there. Coincidentally, let me just pause that statement first. But we want to appreciate two of our members. They are both males, and they've really been committed. One of them is a founding member. The other joined just shortly after the community was formed. And I think if I even ask us to even mention names, we'd even be able to guess the names. But I will not ask us to mention the names. So we want to really appreciate them. We'll send out certificates to them. Would provide certificates for them, but they've really been committed, amazing. One of these two persons, whenever I drops a post on WhatsApp, I don't have to check the name. I know this person is this guy that dropped this post. I just know the person that dropped the post. There's this unique touch to the way he writes. There's this unique touch to his kind of comments, his humor, and all of that. So we are saying a big thank you to Nasiruddin Abdul Rashid Ido for being one of a very, very active member, even during Ramadan fast, even during Muslim breaks. Nasiruddin is always available. The only time that Nasiruddin misses meetings is because of power supply, and he calls it epileptic power supply in Nigeria. So I am Martin, already familiar with that word. That if Nasiruddin is not coming for meetings and you call him, Nasiruddin will tell you, well, they've not had light for a few weeks, and that's why, and maybe there's a challenge with lighting, and that's why it doesn't join sessions. So thank you so much, Nasiruddin. We see what you're doing and we appreciate it as a community. And also the second person, coincidentally, like I was saying, they belong to the same faith. They are both Muslims and really, really committed members. Ibrahim Hassan Adebayo, another amazing young man who has been giving his best to the community. Even though they are not members of volunteer teams, we see what they are doing and we appreciate them. So this is just like, we are just appreciating two of them. Hopefully, we know there are several persons giving their best to the community who are not volunteers, but we just feel it's important to, when you see a good work, it's important that you praise it so people can emulate and work in their steps too. So thank you so much, Ibrahim Hassan. We see what you are doing. Thank you so much, IB, and God bless you, and God bless you all. Thank you so much. Yeah, hi B. So IB is really an amazing writer too. Yeah, he writes a lot. He has written a newsletter for us this year. One very nice newsletter, and Nasiruddin also is written newsletters. So it's interesting that they've both written newsletters for us too. So thank you so much, everyone, and God bless you all. So we will be taking the closing remark right now, and I would invite Martin to come take the closing remark. Martin, can you hear me?
Yes, well, I can hear you. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so just shortly before Martin comes up, I think I also want to say a big thank you to my fellow co-founders, Martin and Dolapo. And thank you so much for what we are doing together. It's so amazing. And sometimes we just talk to ourselves and say like, okay, we are really proud of ourselves and proud of the community that we've built, and we are grateful to God for the opportunity. And I really must also say something about Martin. So Martin is, even if Martin is tired, the Lagos stress and all of that, and there's something to do, Martin is always available. There are times that we have this chat into the night because the Dolapo schedules in grad school sometimes is not available to join meetings, or maybe all of those contributions. But Martin has really working together. He has really made working building the community, growing and all of that. He has really made it easy for all of us co-founders. There are some things that I'm not able to say well, or I'm not sure how to say it. Martin steps out and he says them and gives you the way it is. There are some persons I'm not able to handle very well in this community, and they know themselves. Martin is able to handle them, have conversations with them, and all of that. So Martin is really an amazing young man. Thank you so much, Martin. And God bless you, and God bless all of us. Thank you. Yeah, you can come up now.
Okay, thank you, Wet. Well done. You have to make me blush before I come up. So thank you so much. And yeah, you have to. I know somebody will bring up that proverb, so maybe I'll close this remark with a proverb. Our people say that wine gets better with age. And yeah, it's just like a dream. Science Cafe started yesterday, and we're already celebrating the second year. So taking a glance back, we can't deny that we have come a very, very far distance from the streets of Slack to the corridors of LinkedIn. So much have happened, and in one way or the other, Welt, Alaka, and I, the founding members, the volunteers, even the most recent addition to the community, they have all grown. For this, I give special thanks to God, and I want to especially appreciate every member of this community who have contributed selflessly in many wonderful ways. They have become like beautiful trees that form an unyielding forest in the face of challenges and whatever comes. So to the volunteering teams, what would we do without you in Science Cafe? So we really appreciate you, especially the team leads, despite the fact that they are all female in a male-dominated community. You guys have been fantastic. I'd love to especially thank Chinazamanya, Blessing Afolabi, Olaiton Owoyemi, Emmanuel Ekwem, and Charity Okoleze. They are, as we've been hearing, the team responsible for planning this wonderful anniversary event. You guys are all wonderful. And of course, to our special guests, Dr. Macaulay Babajide, Mr. Oluwaseyi Olawale, Mr. Alaka Hassan, Ms. Martha Moin Oluwa Ibiemi, Mr. Gigaloluwa Ilori, and our very own Ms. Muina Zube. Thank you for showing up and doing so much with so much passion. You've enriched us in your own wonderful ways. We are grateful to the moderators who took us through the event, to everyone who took out time to be a part of this event despite the World Cup. We really appreciate it. And yes, the commitment from my co-founders have been wonderful. Words talked about me, but he didn't talk about himself. So we are all aware that Word lost his dad some months back. The funny thing that even last week, I think last week was the first time I've seen Word in 2 years. That's since Science Cafe started, Word and I have not listened. So the funny thing was that even a day to the event, Word was still asking me, okay, have they finished up? There was a question was asking me about Science Cafe. So I was smiling to myself, and yeah, it shows how much he takes the community to heart. And we see all that he does is what I usually call in my mind a gentle giant. I won't call him that out, but that's one of the pictures I have when I think of him. He's a wonderful person, and my co-founders are very wonderful. It's very, very interesting to see how far we have come and how we've been able to move together peacefully and in growth. So I thank you all, and God bless you all. Good night from me.
So I think we've closed officially, right? Yeah, good night, everyone. See you next year. Anniversary event, year 3.
Good night, everyone.